We have planned something special for you. We brought in a very dynamic speaker. Joshua Fredenberg is a nationally recognized speaker, best-selling author, and influential voice of the millennial generation, who has presented programs in 43 different states, reaching and impacting the lives of thousands of leaders from the millennial generation on issues that revolve around relationships, leadership, motivation, diversity, and generational differences. Over the past decade, Joshua has appeared as a television guest expert and influential voice of the millennial generation on BET, The Wayne Brady Show, The Rolanda Watts Radio Show, KTLA Morning Show in Los Angeles, MTV, The Daily Buzz National Morning Show, and a variety of other local radio and television stations and programs to address topics that revolve around relationships, diversity, politics, youth, and generational differences. In addition to these television and radio appearances, Joshua has written 5 books and has served as a dynamic and electrifying keynote speaker in 44 different states across the country for lectures, leadership conferences, retreats, and trainings at high schools, colleges, nonprofit organizations, and corporate events. He has also developed a national leadership conference for emerging leaders of the millennial generation that has consisted of partnerships and executives from companies such as Pepsi, Columbia Pictures, and Hewlett-Packard. Joshua Fredenberg has received a variety of awards for his positive work with the millennial generation. The most impactful of these came last year when he was honored with a Community Service Award from the Young Professionals Urban League of Los Angeles for his service to collegiate students all across the country, along with other distinguished leaders such as Lorenz Tate and Andre Johnson. So what I want us to do right now is give Joshua a big, warm Essex welcome. Come on.
Can we give Jamil a big round of applause? Awesome. Let me first of all begin by saying it's a pleasure and honor to be here today. I often say anytime I get the opportunity to inspire the minds of emerging leaders and seasoned leaders of the 21st century, I never take it for granted because I believe that in this room there could be a group of us that have been designed to reach 1 million, maybe 1 billion people. You just never know. So I'm just excited to be here today, and I'm honored and humbled and thankful that you have came out to hear what I have to say. So give yourself a round of applause for being awesome. Wonderful. Second thing I want to do really quick, and I think it's always important that anytime someone puts on an event to make our lives better, I think it's always important that we give them a round of applause and we show our appreciation. So we give the entire Jamil and Student Life Department a big round of applause for putting on this wonderful event. Awesome. So we're getting ready to take off, but before we take off into our presentation, I always like to begin what I call a positive affirmation experience. Essentially what we're going to do over the next 2 to 3 minutes is we're going to stand on our feet and we're going to say positive words out loud. Now there's 3 reasons why I do it. The first reason why I do it is because I'm a believer in the power of words. Someone say words. Words. I believe words have power. I believe you say I am great, you will become great. There you go. Second reason why I do it, I think it's fun, it's exciting, sets a positive environment. And the last reason why I do it is because it gives us an opportunity to remind ourselves how awesome and how great we are. I want you to know that when you walk out of here, that not only are you valuable, not only are you significant, but I want you to know that you are an answer, you are a solution, and you are a leader that's not only going to make an impact on this campus, but in our nation and our world. If you agree, say, oh yeah. Oh yeah. Awesome. So we're going to stand on up so you can today. I am destined for success. I am an incredible leader of the 21st century. I look good. I smell good. I'm dressed wonderful. I'm highly intelligent. I want my haters. I want my naysayers. I want my doubters. My fears and my failures. To know I will go above and way beyond these small challenges in my opportunity of a lifetime. I believe I'm great. I'm powerful. I'm valuable. I'm amazing. I'm awesome. And I will, without a doubt, make an impact on my campus, in my community, my nation, and my world. I am one of the world's next top leaders. Give us a round of applause. Awesome. The only way there, we just want to high five and say, get ready, get ready, get ready, get ready. Here we go. Awesome.
Give me a number on my back. I'll give you the gut.
You mad, right? There's a reason why I told you mad. I didn't tell you you mad just to hear myself talk. Like I didn't say you mad because I wanted you to get on some emotional roller coaster. No, the reason why I told you you mad is because you'll never have, you'll never be, you'll never do. Listen to me. You'll never experience life the way you were supposed to experience life until you recognize that you matter. Now, it's important for me to let you know that you are powerful beyond measure. Listen to me, I told you last week because perhaps, I don't know, your daddy wasn't in your life, your mother wasn't in your life. I don't know, you didn't have a mentor. I don't know, but you may have never heard someone look through your eyes, look through your soul, and tell you that you not only matter, you're powerful. I remember sleeping in the building, eating out of garbage cans. I remember coming home, bringing home seeds and leaves. I remember not living up to my full potential. Do what you've been born to do, what you've been called to do, what you've been birthed to do. Nobody can do it like you. Nobody can sing the way you sing. Nobody can speak the way you speak. Nobody can write the way you write. Nobody can love the way you love. Nobody can play that piano. Nobody can play that saxophone. Nobody can play that violin. Nobody can do poetry like you can do it. Nobody can produce the way you produce. Nobody can write scores the way you write scores. You hear what I'm saying? You're powerful.
When you know within yourself that there's something you want to do, and I believe that all of us are born with a purpose, and all of us have something that we are supposed to do, and all of us have some goodness within us, and that goodness gives us a responsibility to manifest our greatness. And when you know that, you can feel it in your guts, and you know that you're deliberately operating below your potential, you've gotten comfortable, you stop expanding, you stop stretching, you stop challenging yourself to share something else with you. Not only is it possible for you to have your dream, but it's necessary. It's necessary that you have it, that you work on it, that you develop yourself, that you go for what is yours in the universe. You decide, I'm not going to settle for this. This is not going to be it for my life. I deserve more than this. See, that will start making you do some stuff. See, a lot of people go to work every day miserable, and all they do is just talk about how miserable they are. But they don't do anything about it.
Really quick, the reason why I showed you that video, I didn't show you the video just because it was inspiring, just because it's powerful, just because it actually highlighted some of the most incredible motivational speakers in the country. But I showed you the video because it reminded me of an experience that transpired in my life several years ago. I'll never forget, I was in Southern California, and I was invited to hear this particular speaker give an electrifying message. And I was really busy at the time, but I was able to make some time. And so I come into this auditorium, and I'm amazed on how big the auditorium is, and this guy gets out, and he just starts speaking. And he starts just empowering and inspirational and dropping knowledge and dropping wisdom. And it's really, really engaging for me being a speaker and being someone that likes to learn. In the middle of his presentation, he said something really powerful that really stuck out to me. And he said, and I quote, he said, every time a child is born, a solution is brought into the world. This was a really powerful moment for me because what he was saying was, he said every time a newborn child, every time a baby is brought into the world, not only does this baby bring life, bring joy, bring young child brings dreams, brings vision, brings aspiration, but most importantly, brings a solution to a problem in the world. In essence, if he was here today and he went from person to person, individual by individual, he would look you in your eyes and he would say, you're a solution to a problem in the world. He would go over here, he would look you in the eyes and he would say, listen, I know life has been tough. I know you face some challenges. I know you're ready to throw in the towel, but you can't give up because someone's depending upon you. And then he would come down here and he would look at some of you guys in the eyes and he would say, there's a lot of problems in the world, but I want you to know that you are born to be the change that you wish to see in the world. Someone say, oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
This is what he said. So it was invigorating. It was a powerful statement because it let me know that I matter. It let me know that no matter what comes against me, no matter what challenges I face, I matter. I was born to do something. But the other powerful dynamic of this quote is another guy by the name of Miles Monroe. And he said, I quote, he said, the wealthiest place in the world is the cemetery. So wait a minute. How is the cemetery the wealthiest place in the world? I mean, when you go to a cemetery, people are dead. So how can you become rich when you're dead? I begin to ponder upon this thought, and I begin to think about this quote, and I finally understood what he was saying. He said the cemetery is the richest place in the world because there's people that die without ever accomplishing their true potential. There's people that have gifts. There's people that have talents. There's people that have aspirations. There's people that have these incredible opportunities, but they never accomplish it because they didn't have the courage, they didn't have the faith, they didn't have the confidence to step up and become what they were destined to be. And so what happens is these opportunities, these valuable human beings, these solutions to problems in the world never materialize because someone allowed the distractions and the challenges of life to hold them back. And this is a powerful truth. And the powerful truth about these two quotes is when you don't pursue the destiny on the inside, not only does it affect you, but it affects others as well. I like to share this story with leaders all the time because I want them to understand, number one, leadership is not about you, leadership is about others. The greatest leaders understand that I'm not in a leadership position to be the popular one, to be the famous one, but I'm in a leadership position because I'm called to impact, I'm called to serve, and I'm called to make other lives better. And so what we understand from a leadership standpoint is when I don't discover my solution, when I don't discover my gift and my ability, what happens is not only does it short circuit me, but most importantly, it affects other people as well. You know, there may be someone in here today, and you have a multi-million-dollar business idea on the inside, but there's fear to go after it. I don't have the resources. I don't know what to do. And what you don't understand is, if you don't do what you've already been given the ability to do, there's someone that's going to be unemployed. There's someone that's going to be homeless. There's someone that may put up this sign because you didn't do what you were supposed to do. There may be another person in here today, and you have a gift to be a teacher. And the thought is, I don't know if I want to be a teacher. I don't know if that's what I'm supposed to do. But you know inside of you, you have the ability. And this is the power of truth. If you don't become the teacher, someone may drop out. Someone may get off on education. Someone who has the ability to be the next president of the United States of America may never get there if you don't step up. Another person in here today may have the ability to create hospitals, or may have a desire and a passion to go to a third world country. But if you let fear get in the way, if you let challenges get in the way, if you let money and lack of resources get in the way, someone may not get the need that they need from you in order to live another day. And then lastly, probably most importantly in regards to this message, if you don't become the leader you're supposed to become, it's going to affect your campus, it's going to affect your community, it's going to affect your nation and your world. And when I say leader, I'm not just talking about position. I'm talking about impact. Someone say impact. I'm talking about impact. I'm not concerned if you're the president. I'm not concerned if you're the vice president. I'm not concerned if you're an executive board member. What I want to know is, are you making an impact? Say impact. Because leadership is not about title. Leadership is not about position. Leadership is about impact. Say impact. It's about making things better than what they were. And this is why leadership is so important. Because leaders make things better. Leaders make organizations better. Leaders make communities better. Leaders make nations better. Leaders make the world a better place. Leadership, oh, I'm feeling good right now. Leadership is about making things better. And so if I'm going to be a great leader, and if I'm going to make an impact in my organization, doesn't matter what the position says. What I want to know is, are you making an impact? I want to know if you're making a difference. Because at the end of the day, that's what matters most. Are the people in your organization growing? Is your organization moving forward? Is your organization becoming better? Do people see some fruit from your organization? Is your organization making lives better? Is your organization adding to the institution? Is your organization adding to the Student Life and Development Office? The question is, are you making an impact? Say impact. That's the key. That's what leaders do. Leaders make things better. It's one of the reasons there was a study at Harvard University. They said, I quote, they said 80% of people stated that effective leadership affects the state of a community or a nation. Someone say 80%. 80%. And I would venture to say that 20% were probably just ignorant. But 80% say that leadership affects the state because they understand that everything that impacts our communities, our nation, our families, and our world all goes back to leadership. It all goes back to leadership. What this campus will become will be dependent on some of the leaders in here today. What this campus will look like next year will be dependent on some of the leaders in this room right now. The events, the impact of the events, the impact of the organization will be dependent on each and every one of you in the room today. Yes, you have leaders in Student Life and Development. Yes, you have a president. Yes, you have a vice president. And they're all very important individuals. But students are important as well. Students create culture. Students create events. Students create resources. Students reach out to people that others cannot reach out to. Students create the climate. Students create the excitement. Students matter. And student leaders even matter more. Because you're the leaders of the student. Someone say leader. Leader. We say leader. Leader. Of the students. So you're the leader of the students. And so if you're the leader of the students, then you got to understand that leadership is not something that you're born with. All right. Leadership is not a born talent. You can be born with an ability, but it can be great. It must be developed. Say developed. When Kobe Bryant came into the NBA, he was talented, but he had to train and develop in order to be great. So you can have the ability, you can have the height, you can have the charisma, but if you're going to really make an impact, you got to be trained. Someone say trained. Trained. You got to be developed. You got to know some stuff. And so that's why I'm here today. Because I'm here to make you better. Someone say better. Better. Here to make you better. Real simple. I'm here to make you better today. And the way I'm going to do that is I'm going to give you 4 to 5 questions. Someone say 4 to 5 questions. 4 to 5 questions that I believe every leader must consider if they're going to make an impact in the 21st century. So if you're going to be a great leader, if you're going to make an impact, if you're going to make this campus better, if you're going to make your organization better, then you got to answer these 4 to 5 questions. Are y'all ready? Yes. All right, number 1, let's get into it. I don't know if somebody got, but let's get into it. Someone say number 1. Number 1. First question, foundational question. Do you know thyself? The very first question that every leader should consider if they're going to be effective in the 21st century is, do you know who you are? Now, when I ask this question, there's specific things I want you to consider. The first thing, number 1, do you know your strengths? What do you do really because your strengths are the vehicles to get the work done in an excellent manner. Number two, what is your passion? The worst thing in the world is to do something or lead something you're not passionate about. Number three, what are your values? What are your beliefs? What are your philosophies? Because your beliefs and your philosophies dictate your behavior. So you gotta be aware of that. Number four, what's your personality? Are you an extrovert? Are you an introvert? Are you someone that's a risk taker? Or are you someone that wants organization in everything you do? Are you a delegate kind of person? Or are you a micromanager? Someone say personality. Number two, what's your emotional intelligence? I wish I had time to talk about this, because this right here is very, very powerful. But do you have an ability not only to manage your own emotions, but to respond to the emotions of others effectively? In essence, when someone gets on your last nerves, do you cuss them out, or do you keep your mouth shut because you understand cussing them out will not get the job done? I'm talking about something, okay? See, you gotta handle your emotions. Because sometimes cussing someone out ain't doing nothing. Sometimes you gotta keep your mouth shut and just don't say nothing. And we gotta be aware of this. And we gotta handle our emotions. Because cussing someone out can make you look bad and can ultimately cause you to be in a worse predicament than you are when someone's cussing you out. But if you know how to manage your emotions, you miss the boat. Next thing, do you have intuitive intelligence? Someone say intuitive. Intuitive intelligence is an ability to understand the dynamics of the situation, although you don't actually have the facts. It's following your gut feeling. So I walk into this room, and although I don't know everyone in the room, I have an idea of where the climate and the atmosphere of the room is based on my intuitive intelligence. Let me make it a little more clear. You have someone come into your life, and they want to join your organization. Now they smile, they dress well, and they look good. But on the inside, something doesn't feel right. And then you tell people, nah, I don't know about this person, something ain't right. No, they dress good, they communicate well. No, something tells me they're not right. So your intuitive intelligence can save you from someone coming camouflage to destroy you. Oh, that one right there, that's a whole other message in itself as well. Because your intuition can save you from destruction, but your intuition can also set you up for some of the greatest opportunities of your life. Because intuition, sometimes you may see something others do not see, but your gut says something good is there. And they're like, I don't see nothing good there. But the gut says yes. And if you move, you discover it was the greatest decision of your life, although it did not make sense. So you gotta have intuitive intelligence. So this is just the beginnings of knowing who you are. And it's quite frank, the reason why you know who you are is because the more I know who I am, the more successful I will become as a leader. See, if you're going to be an effective leader, you got to know who you are. Because the more I know who I am, the more likely I will to succeed, not only in life, but as a leader. Why do you say that? Well, number one, when I know who I am, I know who to surround myself with. See, because Les Brown says, and I quote, show me your friends and I will show you your future. Another person said this, he said, history is not made by individuals, history is made by the people that the individuals surround themselves with. My guy, Kevin Bracey says, and I quote, he says, your net worth determines your net worth. So who you are can be predicated on who you surround yourself with. But you gotta know who you are. Number two, you gotta know who you are because you gotta know how to deal with challenges. I don't have time to deal with resilient leadership. I'll do it if I ever come back another day. But I would suggest to you that challenges is actually a part of life. And challenges is a part of leadership. And challenges is going to come to everyone. And we're all going to face challenges. We're all going to face fear. We're all going to face failure. We're all going to face distraction. We're all going to face conflict. We're all going to face something that gets on our last nerves. But the person that overcomes the challenge is the person that knows how to respond to the challenge. And in order to respond to the challenge, you got to have the right perspective. You got to understand that there's always good in a bad situation. And then lastly, you got to understand that the situation when it gets bad is actually a setup for something good. But if you don't understand how to deal with the situation, you'll miss the greatest opportunity of your life because because of the challenges that you're facing. So you got to know yourself so you know how to effectively deal with challenges in your life. And then the last thing I'll say, we'll keep going on. The last thing you want to know who you are, and because when you know who you are, you make better decisions. When you don't know who you are, you're more effective at positioning yourself for success. Because I have found that I'm wired to do certain things, but I'm not wired to do everything. So if you come talk to me and tell me you should be a doctor, I'm going to laugh in your face. Because I don't have no desire to be being a surgeon, going to people's hearts and dealing with, sickness. I ain't got no desire for it. I don't like going to the hospital in itself. So if you ask me to be a doctor, no, I'm not wired for that. You ask me to talk, it's a whole other discussion. Because I like to talk. So based on knowing who I am, I know what major, I know what jobs, watch this, and I know what leadership positions to take and what not to take because I know who I am. See, a lot of people get caught up in bad situations for 2, 3, and 4, and 5 and plus years because they don't know who they are. A lot of people are in bad jobs, not because they want to be there, but because they never decided who they were or to position themselves for success. So you can attain success to the level that you have been created to attain success until you first know who you are. And again, I'm not saying success is just money. Because you can have a whole lot of money in the world and be ready to kill yourself every single night. So what I deal with success is being comfortable, being happy, being content, and being excited about what you're doing every single day. Are y'all still here? Yeah. That's why it's important who you are. And that's why Betty Till says, and I quote, she says, your innate strength guides you towards success. She says, your innate, someone say innate. She says, your inner strength guides you towards success. She's just laid out to you the key to success. Anybody want to be successful, raise their hand. Anybody want career success, raise their hand. Personal success, raise their hand. Leadership success, raise your hand. All right, hands down. She just told you. She said, discover your inner strengths. Act upon it. Success is inevitable. Really simple. Discover who you are. Act on who you are. And success is inevitable. I mean, it's that easy and that deep. But the problem is, sometimes we don't obtain the success that we have the potential to obtain because we don't know who we are. And again, this is not just a quote, this is my life. I was speaking in New York City 3 years ago up in upstate New York. And what people don't understand is I didn't always set out to be a speaker. As a matter of fact, when I was 19 years of age, my whole aspiration was to be a national basketball player. By the way, I got game, so if anything to beat me, you're wrong. But I had this aspiration to be a basketball player. And at the age of 19 years of age, I didn't make the team because they had too many guards, and so they decided to take 6, 10, 7. And so I was a little discouraged because for 13 years of my life, my aspiration was to be a national speaker, was to be a national basketball player. And so during this time, I had a class. The class was public speaking. And we had to do this presentation. Now, again, I had only given one speech ever in my life, and that was because I was the captain of my basketball team in high school, and I had to do a speech. So I was like tripping out because I didn't have no idea what I was going to say. I didn't have no idea how I was going to do. I just knew I had to get up there and have to talk. And so I started talking, and all of a sudden I realized I'm good at it, and I realized I got photographic memory. I don't even know notes. Okay now. So I get an A in the class. Notice I discovered my gift. Someone say gift. Yeah. And I discovered something I was good at. So because I was good at it, common sense told me take another communications class. So I had the debate class. In the debate class, I was undefeated. I was 7-0, never lost. At that point, I discovered that speaking was a passion. I liked it. I like winning. Someone say, hey, oh yeah. Yeah. I like to win. I don't know about you, but I like to win. And so I was winning. And I was doing good. And so I discovered my gift, and I discovered passion. The next semester, I was part of an organization. And within this organization, they would ask people to speak each week. And so, I had a gift, I was passionate, I would talk. I get up to my first presentation outside of the classroom, and I start talking, and literally 50% of my audience starts falling in tears. At that point, I had an epiphany moment. I realized that I was called and destined to be a speaker. And And the reason I knew I was called in this to be a speaker, because number one, it was my gift. Number two, it was my passion. Number three, is something I was willing to do for free. And then number four, I could use all that to make an impact in the world. The epiphany moment came for me at the age of 20 years of age. And so at 20 years of age, I had aspiration that one day I was going to be this national speaker. Now again, at the time that I had this vision, I had no mentor, I had no resources, I had no direction. I didn't even know how this was going to happen. I just knew that that's what I was getting ready to become. And so what I did was I started to act on who I was. I acted on my gift. I acted on my passion. I acted on my personality. I dared to believe that I could be what I saw on the inside. And on this journey, I faced rejection. And in this journey, I faced failure. And in this journey, I had my father tell me it'll never happen. And in this journey, I wanted to give up. And in this journey, I wanted to throw in the towel. And in this journey, I almost went bankrupt. But ladies and gentlemen, there is no challenge that can stop what you were supposed to do. There is no challenge that can stop what you were designed to do. And so because I dared to be committed, to be loyal and faithful to who I was, I can stand here today, and I can tell you that I've traveled to 43, 44, well actually 45 different states in the world today. I can sit here today and say I have my own business. I can sit here today and say that my life is taking places I never imagined, and I position myself as a leader because I became who I was supposed to be. So what I'm saying today is some of you don't even know how much potential is in you right now. That's what's powerful. There are people in this room right now, and you have no idea how awesome, how more awesome you are. Because you may have never taken the time to discover who you were. Because remember, I didn't discover who I was until I was 19 years of age. So for 19 years, I had all this opportunity inside of me, and I didn't even know. So my question today, leaders, is this. When are you going to take some time to truly discover who you are? Even if you know who you are, do it again. Even if you say, I know my purpose, I know my major, I get it. Do it again. Make sure it's your core. Make sure there's no influences. Because the first step of leadership is knowing who you are and being who you are. Because when you become who you are, other people will follow you. Other people will be influenced. You'll be in a position of leadership automatically just by being who you are. So number one, the first lesson we must learn is we must know ourselves. And again, repeat, we must know our gifts. We must know our passion, our values, personality, emotional intelligence, intuitive intelligence. And then once we discover, we must act. Someone say act. We got to act in this thing. Someone say number two. Give someone a high five, say number two. The second thing you gotta ask yourself really quickly, you gotta ask yourself is, do you have a fresh vision? Someone say vision. Do you have a fresh vision? Now when you're this concept of vision, a vision is a clear, concise, compelling picture or image of your future. When we do a vision, it's a clear. Someone say clear. Concise. Compelling. Not boring. Not boring. Compelling. To captivate you. Picture or image of your future. Watch this. I say fresh because it's not just a vision, but it's a vision that inspires and meets the needs, the desires, and the interests of the people in which you serve. The reason I say you have a fresh vision is because you can have a vision that is dead because it doesn't speak to the people that you serve. You can have a vision that's dead because it's something that was in the 20th century, but we're in the 21st century. And so when we create vision, I don't want you just to go off tradition. Well, for 20 years, we've had this vision, and we've done A plus B. Great, thank you for 20 years. Someone say 21st century. 21st century, we have new people, we have new students, we have new culture, we have more diversity, technology is involved, social media is someone say fresh.
Fresh.
Gotta make it fresh. And to make it fresh, we gotta make sure that it's not only clear, concise, and compelling, but it meets the interests, the needs, and the concerns of the people that we serve. Oh man, I'm gonna sleep right now. Goodness, I'm feeling right. See, we create visions that we like. But the vision is not about you. The vision is about others. And so the reason some of us are not having an impact in our organization is because we've never considered, does this vision serve the people we're trying to reach? Because if it is not, you need to rewrite the script. If it doesn't serve their desires, rewrite the script. And get a vision that not only inspires you, but inspires others. Someone say others.
Others.
The reason why this is important, ladies and gentlemen, because vision not only gives you hope and direction and passion and inspiration and energy. But when you think about the Facebooks of the world, when you think about the Microsofts of the world, when you think about Disney World and Disneyland, and you think about the Civil Rights Movement, and you think about the Women's Rights Movement, and you think about the speech by Dr. King, I have a dream. You will find that the leaders of these organizations and these movements, not only did they have vision, but they had a fresh vision that inspired people and spoke to the needs, the interests, and the concern of the people in which they served. The vision was not just about them, it was about others. Someone say others. Others. So therefore, I gotta have a fresh vision. This is why Woodrow Wilson says, and I quote, he says, no man that does not see vision, someone say vision, will ever realize any high hope when you're taking any high enterprise. I don't have vision, I can't achieve great things. This is why God says, and I quote, be the change you wish to what? Be the change you wish to what? Notice you can't be the change in the world if you first don't see what that looks like. My quote, you can only go as far as much as you see. So I'm going to make an impact, if I'm going to make a difference, if I'm going to be a leader, I got to have a vision. Say vision. Vision. Because I got to have vision. Again, it's the foundation of great leadership. And it's a determining factor of how great I will be. Where you will be in the next 5 to 10 plus years is predicated on your vision. Where your organization will be in the next 365 days is predicated on your vision. Where you will be in the next 12 months is predicated on your vision. Where you will be in the next 6 months is predicated on your vision. And when we do this concept of vision, not only is it a clear, concise, compelling picture, image of your future, but someone say fresh. Fresh. Say fresh. Fresh. It's something that inspires and moves people because it connects to their concerns, their interests, and their desires. Someone say fresh. Fresh. A great example of this concept, there was a guy and started a church in Australia 30 years ago. 30 years ago, this guy had a church in Australia, and nobody knew who he was. Nobody knew who this man was. Nobody knew who this ministry was. Nobody knew who this choir was. Was unknown to the world. Sat down one day like us and began to write out a vision. Said, one day I'm going to be worldwide. One day my music's going to be heard all over the world. One day I'm going to reach people from all across the globe. And he started writing out the vision. Someone say 30 years. 30 years. Write the vision up. And today, you have Hillsong, New York City, Hillsong, LA, Hillsong all across the country, because there was someone that had a vision. Now, his ministry's all over the globe. Now, the music is making millions of dollars. Now, they were just featured on the Today Show this morning, because the leader had a vision. And I'm here to tell you today that if you're going to make an impact in the world, not only is it important that you discover who you are, but it's important that you have a vision. It's important that you create a clear, a concise, a compelling picture or image of your future that is fresh. Someone say fresh. Fresh. Say fresh. Fresh. It's a fresh vision. It's a clean vision. It's a clear vision. It's a vision my list and into my vision, they feel the same inspiration as me. Are y'all still here?
Yes.
See, there's a vision like that. There's a vision that is so dope that when you walk into the vision, you feel the vision. You ever been to Disneyland? No. Disney World? No. Okay, no, I gotta stop. Anybody been to I can't even use that one. I gotta use Disneyland. No, I gotta use Disneyland. Well, there's something about when you go to Disneyland. When you step into Disneyland, you just change your mindset. It just does something to you. Anybody ever been to a party and you just step in the party and just like, you just survive like, okay, this is jumping, I guess. You know what I'm talking about? There's certain parties that are just jumping and you walk to a party that's just dead. It's just dead. Hey, I come here. But there's a jumping party. Because that's your vision to do. When a person walks into your organization, they should feel the joy. They should feel the excitement. They should feel the passion. They should feel the purpose and the call. This is fresh. Someone say fresh. Fresh. This is a fresh vision. So the lesson that we got to learn now, as we build the box, we got to learn that if I'm going to be an effective leader, then not only got to know who I am, but to know who I am, I got to develop a fresh vision. Someone say fresh. Fresh. Develop a fresh vision. A fresh vision. What a fresh vision? A fresh vision is a vision that is clear. Someone say clear. Clear. Concise. Compelling. Captivating. Image. Picture. Of my future. Here we go. I'm going to show you another video real quick.
I believe that opportunity looks a lot like hard work. When I was 13, I had my first job with my dad carrying shingles up to the roof. And then I got a job washing dishes at a restaurant. And then I got a job in a grocery store deli. And then I got a job in a factory sweeping Cheerio dust off the ground. And I've never had a job in my life that I was better than. I was always just lucky to have a job. And every job I had was a stepping stone to my next job. And I never quit my job until I had my next job. The sexiest thing in the entire world is being really smart. And being thoughtful. And being generous. Everything else is crap, I promise you. It's just crap that people try to sell to you to make you feel like less. So don't buy it. Be smart, be thoughtful, and be generous. The third thing is something that I just relearned when I was making this movie about Steve Jobs. And Steve Jobs said, when you grow up, you tend to get told that the world is the way that it is. And that your life is to live your life inside the world and try not to get in too much trouble and maybe get an education and get a job and make some money and have a family. But life can be a lot broader than that when you realize one simple thing. And that is that everything around us that we call life was made up by people that are no smarter than you. And you can build your own things. You can build your own life that other people can live in. So build a life. Don't live one, build one. Find your opportunities and always be sexy. I love you guys.
The reason I showed that video is he said a lot of powerful things, but he sets me up for my third point. And my third point is this: if you're going to be an effective leader, you got to question, do you have character? Someone say character. Character. He talks a lot about character. He talks about the importance of being a hard worker. He talks about the importance of being intelligent. Someone say intelligent. He talks about being kind. He talks about being thoughtful. And if you're going to be an effective leader, you have to understand that leadership is about character. Say character. Now, when we deal with character, it's twofold. The first part of character is you're going to have morals and values. You're going to be honest. You're going to be trustworthy. You're going to be loving. You're going to be fair. You're going to have service. You're going to be someone that does the right thing. If you agree, say, oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
The second thing we got to understand about character is also about being able to meet the demands of the people that you serve in an excellent manner. So character is not just about morals and values, but character is about competence. Say competence. You got to be able to do the job. Say responsibility. Dependability. Work ethic. It's about being able to do the job. You know, one of the problems we have today in the 21st century, we have leaders in leadership positions that don't know how to lead. So because they don't know how to lead, our organizations are in shambles. Because they don't know how to lead, or they don't have character, they're stealing money, they're being rude to people, they're causing people not to want to be a part of the organization, because they're cancerous, because they lack character. Say character. Lack character. So if I'm an effective leader, I gotta have character. Because character, ladies and gentlemen, is the foundation of great leaders. We can't be great leaders if we don't have character. Because character, if it's not good character, it contaminates our organizations. It contaminates people. Boss feels?
No.
I mean, you can have the drink. You're in a good position, girl. You're in a good place. But man, that boss drives you crazy. Some people leave organizations not because of the mission, but because of the boss. Because the boss has bad character. They're a liar. They're rude. Here goes the good one. Here goes the good one. You can't trust them to get the job done. They tell you to get there at 5:15, and they show up at 5:45. Well, that's not being leader. Someone help me understand. Because leadership starts from the top. You can't be a leader if you don't set the example. Leadership 101. Be what you want others to be. Say it again. Leadership 101. Be what you want others to be. How can you tell me to be honest when you're the biggest liar in the world? I can't go to today, but let me just go with the boss. You know, it amazes me. You will have these same people telling people not to do certain things, and they do the same thing. Why am I going to follow you if you can't even do what you expect of me? Leaders set the standard for everybody else. Someone say character. This is character. So character is morals and values. If you want people to be nice, you'll be nice. If you want people to be loving, you'll be loving. If you want people to be on time, you'll be on time. If you want people to be trustworthy, don't gossip. That's what values. Now, if you want people to do the job well, you'll do the job well. If you want people to do 110%, you'll get 110%. If you want people to do things in excellence, you'll do things in excellence. Because if you do things shaky, they're going to do stuff shaky. Because you're the leader. And the reason why I differentiate between morals and values and competence is because this is the real. You can be the nicest person in the world. You can be grandma. I love you. But you don't know how to fly airplane. I can get nowhere like with you. Because you don't know what you're doing. So you can be as moral and ethical as you want to be. But if you can't get a job done, I ain't fooling with you. So character is not just about moral and values. It's getting the job done. So just because you're honest, but you don't get the job done, sorry, you don't have good character. Flip side, you're exceptional. You're brilliant. You're intelligent. You have a master vision and a plan, and you just understand things. But if you're a liar, I ain't fooling with you. If you're a cheater, I ain't fooling with you. If you're unethical, I'm not fooling with you. Because if I fool with you, you're going to cause me to be unethical, and then we all going to go down together. It's going to be a bad situation, no matter how smart you are. Someone say, oh yeah. Oh yeah. And that's one of the reasons why the CEO and chairman of Starbucks says, and I quote, he says, without character, nothing else matters. He says it because he understands in his line of work. Chairman, president of Starbucks, he understands that you can have all the ability in the world. You can have the education, you can be, you can be a numbers person, be a communicator, you can sell a corn dog to a dog. I mean, you can have all the skills in the world. But if you don't have no character, it's gonna look real bad. You've ever dated a fine person before, and they look so good and so attractive, and the moment they open their mouth, like, oh, what I'm talking about. Because they look good on the outside, but they were destroyed on the inside. And this destroys organizations because they don't have enough character. And this is the man right here. I like she says this. I thought I'd throw this up. Dream big enough, the character to attain the dream. Understand, you cannot attain great dreams if you don't have the character to match it. Because if you obtain the big dream but don't have the character to match it, you can lose it overnight. Hi! This is why our NBA basketball players go broke. They have the dream, the skill, but they don't have the character to manage the money. This is why certain artists are one-hit wonders. They have the skills to get to the Grammys, but then after 2 years, you don't hear about it no more because they didn't have the character to be sustainable. Are y'all still here? So we have this guy right here. He, by the way, is the first chaplain for the U.S. Congress and Senate, African-American man. What you don't understand is this young man grew up in Baltimore, Maryland. He didn't come from the perfect environment, but he had a mother. Someone say a mother. Had a mother that instilled character in this young man. Taught him morals and values. Taught him a work ethic. Taught him the importance of doing the right thing. And so his character elevated him. He went to college. He got, I believe, 2 doctorate degrees, 3 masters. He was in the Navy. He did all these wonderful things. Because he had character. Say character. Had character. I'm sorry, I get a little side by here because it puffs me up. You're going to see why. He had character. But in his life, he was 19, 20 years old, and a young lady invited him to South Carolina. Said, hey, I like you. Can you come into me? He said, okay. South Carolina, he comes into the house. She said, I got some bad news. He said, what's the bad news? She said, my sister's out of town. We're going to have one bed, so we're going to have to sleep together. In the bed. Nothing to you. I know it doesn't matter to you, but he was a preacher too. So, as a preacher, he didn't believe that he should sleep with the woman in the bed. So y'all still here. So it was his value. Someone say his value. His value. So he stayed true to who he was. So for 7 days, he slept in the bathtub. So for 7 days, he was in the bathtub. Although he could have slept in his bed with this beautifully attractive woman that he knew, if I get into bed with her, it is going down. Playing some R. Kelly and, happy. It's going down. So he said, I ain't getting to bed. Stay in the bathtub. 7 day passes. He leaves. She doesn't even call him. She cuts him off. Which again, I don't understand that. You have a man of great character, you're going to cut him off. That's relationship 101. We'll talk about that another day. So for 20 years, she's nowhere to be found. And then one day he goes back to South Carolina, and he's giving a speech. And the woman appears 20 years later. And she's bawling. And she's crying. And she's in tears. And he says, what's wrong? She says, you don't understand. He said, I don't understand. I'm glad I never got with you because you weren't the right person. I'm just mad at myself. He said, don't worry about it. It's okay. I'm cool. I mean, she's up now. He's doing good things. So you understand? He said, okay, what's wrong? She said, the reason I'm so sad is because I feel guilty. He said, why do you feel guilty? She said, I feel guilty because when you came to visit me 7 years ago, another man got me pregnant and I want to have sex with you so I can say the child was yours. His character saved him from a sin. I suggest to you, ladies and gentlemen, there are people out there that will try to set you up to destroy who you're supposed to be. And one of the greatest ways to avoid the setup is to have character. When you do the right thing, character protects you. When you do the right thing, they can't say nothing about you because you're doing the right thing. When they try to videotape you, when you don't know they're videotaping you, it doesn't matter because you ain't saying the right thing. Who I'm behind closed doors, who I'm in front, so it don't matter. I'm true and authentic to who I am. So character protects this individual. I wonder how many people we know that have been set up in bad situations, bad moments, because they didn't have the character to deal with the situation right now. And so I really believe on my heart this is one of the most important messages of our generation is we understand the importance of character and we strive every day to have the character responsibility to be the leaders we're supposed to be. Because ladies and gentlemen, if you don't have character, you can never obtain the dreams and goals you wish to have. And that's why I say, and I quote, this is my question. My leadership challenge is very simple. Does your character match the responsibility of leadership in your vision? So someone say character? Character. Does your character match the vision of who you are as a leader? I have about 7 minutes left, and so it's okay, and I'm on schedule. Someone say 7 minutes.
7 minutes.
about to go, but I got 7 minutes. Someone say 7 minutes.
7 minutes.
Here's my fourth point today. Fourth point is this. Are you leading with purpose? Say purpose.
Purpose.
I dealt with vision. I dealt with knowing who you are. I dealt with character. Because again, anytime you're in transition, anytime you're beginning an organization or you're coming into a new leadership role, it's important that you understand what character you must possess. It's important that you understand that you have a vision. And it's also important that you know who you are. Because when you know who you are, you should understand that you're not built to do everything. So where you're weak at, you get someone to fill in the gap. Someone say, oh yeah. It's important to understand that. But the last thing I think is very important is you got to lead with purpose. Someone say purpose.
Purpose.
When we do this concept of purpose, you know, a lot of people miss it. Purpose is a very ambiguous term, but it's also a powerful term. And when I deal with purpose, purpose is an authentic, passionate reason why you do what you do as a leader. When we deal with purpose, it's the reason why you do what you do. You know, if you're going to get someone to join your organization, I hope you have a set of reasons why they should join your organization. And I'm not just saying, well, because we're a good organization, and because we've been here 20 years, and because we have a lot of fun. No. Give me something that moves people. Give me something that moves you. Because if it doesn't move you, it's not going to move other people. And so if we're going to be effective leaders, we got to lead with purpose. Say purpose. We got to set a passionate reason why we do what we do. Why is this important? Why is it important that I sit down and I take some time to write down 10 things I'm passionate about? Why? Because number one, it gives you passion. Number two, it gives you strength. Number three, studies show your performance will actually be higher when you're doing something you're extremely passionate about. Purpose. Number four, it gives you the power to overcome any challenging situation that comes your way. The reason why people do impossible things, the reason why people do great things, is because they have a driving force of purpose that is pushing them through. And then number five, the most important, is because not only does it inspire you to give 110%, but it inspires other members. See, people are not inspired by the what. Someone said the what?
The what?
They're not inspired because your organization's name is bad. Let's just say that. They're inspired because of why you do what you do. So when you're selling your organization and you're pitching your organization and you want to get people involved, you're not telling them the what, you're telling them the what? The why. The why. Why it's important. Why it matters. Why they need to get on board. See, this motivates you in the morning. When you get tired and you're like, I can't do it no more. Go back to the why. Go back to why you did it. Go back to why it matters. Because what happens sometimes is when we begin something, we're extremely motivated. We're pumped up. Yeah, let's go. Let's do it. Yeah, because the why is so clear. We know why we're doing it. But then when the challenges come, and the struggle comes, and the distractions come, and the obstacles come, and the fear comes, and the failure comes, it slowly kills the why, where we start asking ourselves the question, what's going on? Why are we here? Because what you've done is you let the challenge kill the why, when in reality, if you keep the why strong, the why will kill every challenge that comes your way. It's one of the reasons why Simon Sinek says, and I quote, he says, great organizations do great things because they have a sense of what? They have a sense of what? Why? Who wants to be a great organization? Raise your hand. Who wants to be great? Raise your hand. Thank you so much. So he says great organizations do great things because they have a sense of why. Are y'all getting this?
Yes.
They have a sense of why. Now, let me show you something. Jim Collins has a book and it's called From Good to Great. Because there's a difference from good and great. And the difference from good to great is in order to go from good to great, you will have to go through challenges, you have to go through obstacles, you have to be uncomfortable, you will have to deal with uncertainty. That's usually the jump from good to great. There's a challenge. And a lot of people stay comfortable and stay in their comfort zone and don't take risks and don't try to do things that have never been done before because of the uncertainty, because of the challenge that stands between the good and the great. Someone say the good and the great.
And great.
But what will push you through is purpose. Because you're so passionate about what you're doing that you won't be satisfied unless you become great. You won't be satisfied unless what you're passionate about reaches its full potential. And so it's the passion and the purpose that drives you to deal with the challenges of life. It deals with apathetic. It deals with lazy people. It deals with people that don't move with the law. Someone say the purpose. Someone say the why. And if people cannot come to you and give you a set of 10 reasons why they want to be a leader in your organization, I wouldn't even have them on board. Because they're not going to be as committed as you are if they can't have a purpose or a reason why they're part of the organization. See, in this thing, I'm not recruiting friends. I'm recruiting people that feel called to what I'm doing. I'm not recruiting people because they look good. I'm recruiting people that feel called to what I'm doing. Because just because they look good and they're my friend, don't mean they're going to give me what I need to get the job done. And the reason our organizations are the way they are sometimes is because we have people that have not 1 ounce of reason why they're part of our organization. And we ask them to be vice president. Can't do that. Because they're not going to give you vice president work. They're going to give you F-level work. Because it's not passion. See, when you're passionate, you make time. You make room. And you're dependable. A great example of this is Selma. Anybody ever seen Selma?
No.
Yes. What's wrong with our country? Okay. Great movie. By the way, I'll watch it. As a part of the movie, Dr. King is very challenged. And he's in the car with a young man by the name of John Lewis in the movie. And he said, I don't know if I can go on anymore. I'm ready to throw in the towel. And the young man looks at him and says, wait a minute, King. I was there when you were telling us why this matters, and why we need a march, and why we need a fight. Someone say why?
Why?
He begins to speak the purpose back to King. And the purpose is why King was doing what he was doing. And so because he speaks the purpose back to King, it gives King the strength to go forward. And this is why you want to surround yourself with purpose-driven members. Because sometimes you need people to remind you why you're doing what you're doing. See, if you got someone that ain't passionate like you, and you're ready to throw in the towel, throw the towel. I need some soldiers. I need some what they call ride or die members. I ain't giving up. Either we're going to die or we're about to ride. And guess what? I believe we're going to ride, so you need to get yourself together, pull your pants up, and let's go. Purpose. Reason why. It's part of organization. You got to leave a purpose. The purpose is what drives us to do the impossible. Purpose is what drives us to do greatness. Someone say, oh yeah. Oh yeah. Lesson. Before the year ends, I encourage each of you to make sure you have a set of 10 reasons why you are leaving. Why are you leaving? And every day, go back and look at that reason why. And I'm telling you, that why will give you strength. That why will give you energy. That why will give you passion. When you don't want to get up in the morning, that why will wake you up. When you don't feel like going to that meeting, that why will wake you up and get you going. Someone say why. Why? Give yourself a round of applause. I'm on my way out. Last point. And I'm out of here. Someone say courageous faith.
Courageous faith.
In 1 minute. Someone say 1 minute.
1 minute.
In 1 minute, the last time someone give you gotta have courageous faith. What is courageous faith? Courageous faith is where you have the courage to act on what you know about yourself, despite what faces you. I want to let each of you know you're going to face challenges, you're going to face obstacles. As a matter of fact, some of you may walk out the room today and someone's going to be on your last nerves. You may walk out of here today and someone's going to call you up and say, you ain't nothing, you stupid, da 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 da. Someone will say, you can't do that, you doing too much. They're going to say that to you. Let's bring out faith. Someone say faith.
Faith.
And you got to look at that distraction, look at that hater, look at that naysayer, look at that crazy environment, and let the environment know, I refuse for you to tell me who I am, because I know who I am. I know who I am. I know what my vision you act on what you know about yourself. So if you know you're supposed to be a doctor, baby, act on the doctor. If you know you're supposed to be a lawyer, act on the lawyer. If you know you're supposed to be a pediatrician, act on a pediatrician. If you know you're supposed to be that friend of the United States of America, act on it. I don't know what it is, but I'm telling you today, if you discover who you are, if you got the vision, they don't feel the star right now, if you got the character, and if you have a passion reason why you do what you do, don't let no hater get in your way. Don't let no failure get in your way. If you understood that failure is a preparation for success, because Michael Jordan failed, Thomas Edison failed, Steve Jobs failed, Oprah Winfrey failed, President Obama failed, Abraham Lincoln failed, don't let failure hold you back. And definitely don't let fear hold you back. Because fear is actually the opposite of faith. So when you face fear, that means you need to equip yourself and build yourself up and who you really are. Get some inspiration. Listen to the speakers. Motivate yourself. And I promise you, when you build your faith up, fear has to go. So when you walk out of here today, know who you are. You are incredible. You are amazing. You are an incredible leader of the 21st century. Why? Because I know who I am. Why? Because I got vision. Why? Because I got morals and values. And secondly, I know how to get the job done. I'm skilled and I have the ability and the capacity to do what I need to do. And then four, because I have passion behind what I'm doing. So can't nothing stop me as long as I execute and become who I'm supposed to be. So start becoming who you're supposed to be. Because when you become who you're supposed to be, we can go back to the beginning of the whole session where I said that Les Brown, Noah Jones said, College, the worst teaching pride in the world. The solution becomes a reality when you discover who you are and begin to